Hey, pop punk enthusiasts! Welcome to Pop Punk Promo. This is the podcast where pop punk lovers like you can find your new favorite artist. My name is Sydney, and I am the creator and host of this incredible new podcast. So, I'm currently a student at the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire, and I plan to graduate in December, which is a little crazy, honestly. So the reason I started this podcast really was because I just have a huge passion for music and pop punk especially. So I wanted to create a space where I could share my love for that with others while also promoting some artists that really need the promotion. On top of being a huge music lover, I also have a background in audio, which is what led me to create a podcast. So, I'm actually getting a recording arts certificate at the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire on top of my marketing degree. So, I thought I could combine music and marketing and audio and create something that I really love. If you're anything like me, you go to a pop punk show and often leave falling in love with the opening acts. Openers are very popular for touring artists and are a key promotional factor in gaining attention towards small artists. Some of my favorite artists that I enjoy now started as opening acts for larger bands that I liked at the time. With all of this in mind, I created Pop Punk Promo for one main reason. It's just to promote new, small, and female artists in the pop punk scene. As much as I love my favorite popular artists in the scene, like Waterparks, Fall Out Boy, Green Day, all of those big names, I really just wanted to create a space to advocate for incredible artists that may need a leg up in the industry, but are just as deserving of the fame and fortune that the large bands already have. One of the burning reasons, and honestly things I'm just extremely passionate about, and reasons why I created this podcast, is to create a supportive and inclusive environment for women in pop punk. If you're new to the scene, you may not know there is a huge gender imbalance in the scene in a very significant way, and it's often very hard for women and women-led bands to pave their way to success in the pop punk industry. It's really sad because the most well-known pop punk band with a female lead is Paramore, and the most well-known solo female artist in the industry is Avril Lavigne, and both of these first claimed their fame in the early 2000s. And since then, there really hasn't been any other bands or artists to achieve the sheer success that Paramore or Avril Lavigne have. And I really just want to change that fact, honestly. It's such a male-dominated industry, pop punk is, and there's so many incredible female artists out there that deserve infinitely more respect and fame and fortune, and they just don't get it because they're females, and it's just a huge gender imbalance in the scene that needs to go away and won't happen unless people like you and me speak out about it. So, really, my goal with this podcast is just to do promotion, mostly for female artists in pop punk, but also for small artists and newer artists that probably don't have the platform to promote themselves as well as already large bands do. My vision for this brand and this podcast is just to be a safe place where bands and artists, female or not, just come together and they're able to promote their music in a very safe environment. And I want to speak out about issues in the pop punk scene as well that are recurring and that we see from decade to decade, year to year, all of that. In addition to just featuring an artist every episode and showing some of their songs and just really hyping them up and promoting them, I also want to talk about current events in the scene as well, because there is a lot of good content to talk about and important topics to talk about. One of them I've already mentioned is the gender imbalance in the scene. Others are sexual assault and abuse in the scene. That is a huge one that I would love to talk about, and I'll even get some guests on here as well, some of my friends, anyone who feels passionate about some topic in the scene, and I'll have a conversation with them and you guys can listen in on that as well. But I really just want this to be a safe space where people can listen in, they can get their pop punk news for the week. You can hear about a brand new artist, a female artist, and get that new artist on your playlist. So, as much as I want to be sharing some of my personal favorite small, new, and female artists, I want this to be a project that is very inclusive of the general public and my friends and anyone who loves pop punk music in general. I want to make this as interactive as possible. I want to hear from all of you, my listeners, and if you have artists that you want to promote through my platform, please reach out on my website or social media, whether it's an artist that you love locally or if it's you yourself, you have a band and you want me to give a shout out to. I would love to be the platform to promote everyone and anyone who wants to be seen in the pop punk industry. If you want to reach out and you want to be a part of my podcasting journey, my Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok socials are at Pop Punk Promo. And like I mentioned a moment ago, I have a website. It's called poppunkpromo.com. That is poppunkpromo.com. And that is the hub for all things involving my show. I do have a forum on my website where you can request featured artists for my podcast as well as other topics you'd like me to talk about. Because, like I said, I will be featuring artists, but I also want to talk about anything current or anything, any issues in the scene, stuff like that. And I don't want it to be just my views as well. I would love to get other people's perspectives on some of these issues as well. And I'd like to know what you want to listen to, because there's no point in me making a podcast if no one will listen. I will be linking my website, poppunkpromo.com, in the description here of the podcast, so you can go browse it yourself if you'd like. It's a little bland at the moment, but I just wanted to have a space where people could access my podcast and a little bit of get to know me, and all of my socials just linked all in one area. That website will be a lot more interactive as I keep moving forward and gaining traction with this podcast. Like I said, I really want this to be as interactive as possible and make this an enjoyable experience for the listener. So I plan to incorporate polls and questionnaires in my social media as well, so that I can find out from you guys what you want me to talk about every week, who you want to see featured. I'm also very interested in doing interviews as well. So if you are in a band, or if you know anyone in a band or large artists looking for interviews to get their promotion out that way, I am more than willing to, interview anyone who wants to. Just shoot me a DM on any of my social media platforms at Pop Punk Promo. That's just consistent throughout all my social media platforms. So that's the easiest way to reach out to me. Otherwise, I do have an email. It's poppunkpromo@gmail.com. That's a way to reach out to me as well. Otherwise, I do have my form on my website as well, so that's just very user friendly. It's anonymous as well, so I won't know who sent it to me. And of course, if you want to reach out to me and let me know about your own band, please feel free. I would love to promote anyone and everyone who is a good, kind, person and just really wants to share their love of music. With all that being said, I think that makes for a really good introduction to my podcast and what I want this to be. So I hope you guys have a better understanding of what I want my podcast to be and the vision that I have for my project. Now that my introduction is aside, it is time to introduce my featured artist for the week. This artist is someone that I look up to greatly and immensely, and I actually didn't really find their music until this past summer, so it's only been a few months that my love has really grown for them. They just have such a good and spunky artist style and singing style, and I love them a lot. It's probably no surprise to you, but this week, in my first one, I suppose, this is a female artist. I love her to death, and you probably want me to shut up now. You want to know who I'm talking about, so I'm just going to tell you. The artist this week I am featuring is Lolo. If you don't know who Lolo is, she is a singer-songwriter from Toronto, Canada, and she actually just featured as an opener on Sad Summerfest this summer, and that is what got me into her music. I should probably clarify that her name is spelled Lolo with slashes through the O's, just not to confuse her with any other artists. She was born with the name Lauren Mandel, and she just goes by Lolo for short. She is a pretty new artist, quite small. She released an album called Sweater Collection in 2019, And I will be honest, I don't know a ton about that album. I probably should look more into it. But she does have stuff that she's been releasing very recently. Her EP called Debbie Downer actually just came out about 2 weeks ago. And I will not lie, Debbie Downer is my favorite song ever. It features Maggie Lindemann, who is also a pop punk queen. So if you like her, you'll definitely like Lolo, I would say. So that takes me to the featured song for the week, and that is Debbie Downer. I really, really love this song. It's so fun, it's so catchy, and it gets stuck in my head all the time. I think it's a very fitting song for the EP. It's just a very fun song. The EP features 6 songs total, with Debbie Downer being the first one. The second song on the EP is called The Floor is Lava. That one is super fun as well, a little more depressive. It's kind of just about being not in a good place mentally and wanting to get out of bed, but you can't, and so hence The Floor is Lava. The third song on the EP is called You Turn Me On, But You Give Me Depression. Lolo has been using this song on TikTok to promote herself a lot recently because it was the most recent single before the entire EP came out. So that one has been very popular on TikTok lately, and yeah, you should give that one a listen. That one for sure can have some relatability behind it. Number 4 on the track list here is Boo Hoo. This one, Lolo has mentioned online that it's very special to her. This one's the most special song she's ever written. So it has a lot more intensity and depth to it. So I definitely recommend giving that one a listen as well. Number 5 on the EP Debbie Downer, it's called Junkie. This one, this one's awesome. It's about just loving someone so much that if they were a drug, you'd be a junkie. And I quite literally quoted the song there. This one's fun. It's just about being so in love and infatuated with someone that you do anything to just be with them constantly. So some of you might find that quite relatable as well. And then finally, number 6 on the Debbie Downer EP. This one's called Asking for a Friend. Yeah, this one is just a very good summary of the end of the album. It kind of fits the whole vibe with everything else I said. It's a very deep kind of EP, I suppose. I don't want to call it dark because it's not exactly, but there definitely are themes that are a lot more intense. But yeah, I would 100% give this EP a listen if you can, if you have never heard of it. I love it a lot. I have it on repeat, and I have constantly since it came out about 2 weeks ago. So I've just spent a lot of time talking about the Debbie Downer EP, obviously, because it is brand new and it's something that I really would like to promote and get a lot more listens on. But I also would like to touch base on some of the older stuff that Lolo's done as well, just to cover all the bases here. So in 2021, she also released an EP called Overkill. This EP also features 6 songs as well. I won't go quite as in depth about them as I did with the Debbie Downer one, because that's the one I really want to feature, but I will mention some of the titles. So the first one on the Overkill EP is called Death Wish. The second one is called Lonely and Pathetic. The third one is called Hurt Less. And personally, I really like this song a lot. This one is definitely worth the listen. Hurt Less. Number 4 is You Look Stupid. And I also really like this one a lot as well. So I would definitely recommend that one as well. You Look Stupid. Number 5 on the Overkill EP is called Die Without You. And number 6 is called Surgery. So if you have any interest at all, you can go ahead and listen to those ones as well. I highly recommend it. So now that I gave you a little bit of background on some of the discography of Lolo, I just want to go back again and let you know some artists that if you enjoy them, you'd probably like Lolo. I'm not going to play any pieces of the music in the podcast. I'm just going to keep it strictly to speaking about it for now. I will include a weekly playlist with all the songs and the artists that I feature every week on Spotify. So I'll link that as well in the description and on my website so that you guys have access to all the songs I'm talking about. So some artists that I listen to personally that I think connect well with Lolo and who she is and the meaning of her songs If you enjoy Paramore, they are 100% someone that I think you would love Lolo if you listen to them. They have a lot of the same musical references, musical styles, and singing styles as well. So that's a huge name that you like them, you'll probably like Lolo. Another one that I think is a good connection would be Stand Atlantic. This one, Stand Atlantic is a lot harder than Paramore, I suppose. They have generally darker vibes, especially their latest album. But if you like Stand Atlantic, 100%, I would check out Lolo. So I'm just gonna talk a little bit about why I personally love Lolo so much. So she is just an extremely talented female artist in pop punk, and I was just super captivated by her the moment I started listening to her. So my story with her is I saw that she was on the lineup for a Sad Summerfest this past summer, and I started listening to the Sad Summerfest playlist on Spotify, and that is what got me into her because I started hearing her songs come up in the shuffle and just going, wow, this has got a great bass line. She's got such a great voice, just all those kinds of things. And I'm extremely musically inclined, as you can probably tell. And everything about her music, the lyrics she sings and how she sings them, and the way she just means what she's trying to say and how she portrays the lyrics is what I really love about her. And so I was actually quite upset because I was planning to see her at Sad Summerfest, but she was only at one of the dates that I was attending, and I had meet and greet for water parks, which happened to be right when she was on stage, so I unfortunately didn't get to see her. But my friend Kayla was sweet enough to get a set list for me, which was awesome. But I really wish I would have gotten to see Lolo perform. That really bothers me to this day. So hopefully she'll make her way to the Midwest again soon, and I'll get to actually see her. So if you're looking for more female representation in your playlists, if you're looking to support someone who is pretty small still and still gaining her fan base, I 100% recommend Lolo to you. She is fantastic. She is so sweet. She's also extremely interactive online as well. So if you comment on her TikTok, her Twitter, Instagram, she likely will respond to you. She is very connected with her fans still, so it's really cool to interact and become a fan of someone when they're in such a early part of their career because they really genuinely care, and that's why I love supporting small artists so much. If you want to follow Lolo on socials, her TikTok and her Twitter are Lolo Pop Girl. It's spelled LOLOPOPGURL. And then her Instagram is simply just Lolo. So I hope you guys have enjoyed my featured artist this week, and we'll move on to the next segment. So for my next segment here on Pop Punk Promo Podcast, I'm going to do a song of the week. So every single week, I'm going to choose a song that has just been stuck in my head. I've been vibing to it. I just discovered it. Whatever it is, I'm feeling the song, and I will tell you about it. So for this week's song of the week, I chose Sonder by the Rex. That is actually the title track to their most recent album, Sonder. And I don't know what it is, man. I just love that song so much. It's just got such a good beat. It's got good lyrics. It's got amazing qualities all around. So the Rex is also a smaller artist. They are definitely larger than Lolo is, but still small enough that not a lot of people know about them. I really like them. I've been seeing them in concert for about 5 years now. I discovered them also as an opener, and they only had 3 songs out when I first saw them, so I'm definitely like a day one fan for them. They've just grown so much as musicians, and it's really cool to see where they started to where they've come. So my song of the week, Sonder by the Rex. I highly recommend you give that one a listen. It's been on repeat in my head literally for weeks now. So I hope you check that one out, and I hope you really enjoy it. All right, pop punk enthusiasts, we're going to move on to my final segment for this first episode of Pop Punk Promo Podcast. So this segment is going to involve upcoming tours in the pop punk industry. So The first one I'd like to mention is the Real Friends and With Confidence tour. So this tour, it appears to be a co-headliner. Originally, I thought it was Real Friends was the headline and With Confidence was the opener, but I believe it's actually co-headliner. So this tour runs from September 28th, starting in Pittsburgh, and it ends November 4th in Chicago. This tour is kind of a big deal because literally 2 weeks ago, With Confidence announced online that they are breaking up. And if you've been in the scene for a while, you probably know With Confidence. One of their biggest songs is called Voldemort. They also sing a song called Archers that I really like. And I think one of their more recently popular ones is called Big Cat Judgment Day. But with them co-headlining on this tour with Real Friends, this signifies the end of the run for them, and a lot of fans are very, very upset about it, including myself. I've been listening to With Confidence for quite a while now, and I've got some friends that are close to me that love them with everything in their power. So if you like With Confidence and you've never gotten to see them before and they're coming near you or even remotely close to you, go hop on the bandwagon, go get your tickets now. They're selling out quickly, so if you want to not miss your last chance to see With Confidence while they're still a band, please go take this as your sign and go buy tickets for yourself. I personally will be attending the Real Friends and With Confidence tour in Minneapolis. So if you're from Minnesota, you're from the Midwest, and that happens to be the closest one to you and you want to go to it, I would love to meet up with anyone who wants to say hello. Yeah, that goes for any Minneapolis show, really. I love making friends with people in fandoms, so just give me a shout out, and I would love to meet up with anyone at the Real Friends and With Confidence show. Moving away from that tour, I would like to mention the next event in pop punk that I'd like to talk about today. So this one is actually a festival. It's located in the United Kingdom. It's called Slam Dunk, and I'm sure most of you, if you are fans of pop punk, know what Slam Dunk is. It's a huge music festival in the UK, and they announced their lineup actually for 2023. So Slam Dunk South occurs on Saturday, May 27th, and Slam Dunk North occurs on Sunday, May 28th, 2023. I'm very excited about the lineup for this one. It's been my dream to go to Slam Dunk for quite a few years now because there's always so many good pop punk bands there. It just looks like a boatload of fun, but I cannot afford a ticket to the UK. So that's going to have to be something that requires a lot more planning for me to attend. But some of the notable artists that are going to be there in 2023 include Bowling for Soup, Real Friends, Grayscale, Maggie Lindemann, and Charlotte Sands. One of the artists I am very, very excited about at Slam Dunk is Yellowcard. If you don't know anything about Yellowcard, they were very prominent in the scene in the early 2000s, 2010s, and they broke up. I don't remember what year. Oh, it was 2017. They broke up in 2017 because I was going to go to one of their shows, but I was still a teenager, so my mom didn't let me go because it was on Halloween and she thought it'd be unsafe, which is fair. I was 17. But I didn't get to see them before they broke up, which made me really sad. So they actually just made their comeback within the last few months. They announced that the band is back together. Ryan Scott Key has hosted a few emo nights. He is the lead singer, and I went to one of those emo nights, which was super fun. But yeah, so that's a very exciting performance that's occurring at Slam Dunk. And if I'm not mistaken, Yellowcard also has a few other festivals that they've announced as well. The official artist list for When We Were Young Fest 2023 actually came out today as I am recording this. And Yellowcard is featured on that as well. And we'll get into When We Are Young Fest another episode, but I just wanted to bring that out there. So yeah, if you want to go to any upcoming tours, Real Friends and With Confidence are a good choice, especially if you like With Confidence and you don't want to be like me and miss your last chance to see a band that you really like before they break up. And who knows if they'll get back together or not. We've been seeing a lot of that lately with MCR coming back. The summer set also came back as well. So lots of exciting times in pop punk music. With that, I think it's time to wrap up my first episode of Pop Punk Promo. Thank you so much for listening in and giving me a shot here. I'm really excited to get this thing started and see where it goes. Like I had said before, I've got a website. It's called poppunkpromo.com, and all my socials are also at poppunkpromo. So if you want to reach out, let me know what artists you want me to feature, what kinds of discussions you want me to talk about on my podcast. Please go to my website, poppunkpromo.com. I've got the Google form that you can fill out and let me know all of the details. My DMs are also open on all my social media. If you have any ideas, if you're in a band and you want to reach out to me, you'd like me to interview you, whatever the case may be, I've got all that contact information available to you. As soon as this episode goes live, I will have a Spotify playlist with all of the songs that I mentioned on this episode. I will have them up on the playlist. And I intend to update the playlist once a week and have monthly playlists for everything that I discuss on the podcast. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I'll have that linked on my website as well as in the descriptions of the podcast website as well. So thank you all for listening. I hope you've enjoyed Pop Punk Promo Podcast. I hope you guys continue to enjoy my content, and thanks for supporting me and my dream to promote female, small, and new artists. I love doing this so much, and I know I'm just starting, but I just can't wait to see where this goes. So thank you all for listening. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take care.